Now it's funny because Carillon, where we are here in Manor, has been a community that we've featured several different times, but we've never actually done a full community tour on it. And there is actually a lot going on out here, apart from things like the RV garages that we featured that Richmond American Homes is building out here that is very particularly unique. But we've also featured this in our Manor update, talking about all the things coming to Manor and how there are some homes in here in this community that are truly unique for the area, which is very cool. But there's also a lot of nuance. Technically, we sit right on the line between both Manor ISD and Elgin ISD. So depending on which house you have in the neighborhood, you're gonna go to completely different school districts, not just different schools. Because of that also, there's different tax rates, all of those fun things. This video is going to go over all of those. We're gonna jump in the car, drive around, try to get you a sense of what it's actually like to be here. We're gonna talk about everything you need to know if Carillon is on your radar, if you're looking to move to Manor. Maybe you're comparing it to other communities around or some of the other suburbs around Austin. This is going to cover all of it. Let's jump in the car. We've got a lot to talk about. Now, the last time we included this in the full Manor update, this amenity center was not fully open yet. The pool was still under construction. Now it's February when we're filming this, if you didn't guess that by the big jackets. So it's cold, the pool is now closed for the winter, but that pool is awesome. I love that they have the shade covers too, especially if you have small kids, you know how meaningful that is. You've also got pickleball courts, you've got a covered playground, you've got just a bunch of nice spaces to host indoors and outdoors, also in the clubhouse right behind me. This neighborhood really does have some great amenities. There's also little pocket parks dotted throughout the community, of course sidewalks and walking paths and all the things that you might expect for anything like this, but it is super, super nice to have this open, especially once it starts to warm up a little bit again. Now we just pulled into the main part, the main entrance of the neighborhood. You can see over my shoulder, we're passing by the model homes. And in this video, again, I want to go over just a few things really. I want to talk about where we are, of course, in relation to Austin and all the big important things. Want to talk about what it's to actually live here, what's moving and shaking, what's going on in Manor. And then finally, let's talk some numbers, what makes this community unique, things like the tax rates, because we happen to sit on the line with the different school districts and jurisdictions, make a big old difference. So starting off, we are in Manor, which is just to the east of Austin, which really has a unique location, especially when you consider value for money. This is about the closest suburb you can be to have an easy commute into Austin, but yet still being not that far out. Now, there's pros and cons with that. Manor for a very long time was a very, very small suburb, and that is very rapidly changing. Now, Manor for the longest time, the nearest grocery store we had here was Walmart. However, the brand new development has actually gone vertical. It's going to be opening here very soon, which is going to include things like Chick-fil-A, H-E-B. We're finally going to have a true grocery store here. A lot of the complaints that folks in Manor had are going to be fixed here very, very soon. And I really do think that's going to encourage a whole lot more growth. It's just going to be the only real con of this area is that, and probably traffic, but I'll get onto that in a minute. But they're really working on it, which is going to be very, very cool. So give it a year. Manor's not going to live anything like it does right now. Traffic, we touched on a little bit. That is one complaint of Manor. My videographer, Sam, in the passenger seat, who lives here, is nodding his head right now. 290 can be rough at rush hour. It's really not when it's outside of rush hour times, but at rush hour, some of these lights can be rough. That said, Manor is rapidly working on expanding, offering more than one real route in and out. And there's even more. If you go on the City of Manor's website, there's a whole lot of different proposals and such to help with that. Obviously, it's going to take some time, but it is very much in the works. So that is going to be getting a lot better here soon. But definitely, if you're looking for just proximity and you commute downtown for work, for example, just be aware. I would map out the commute and just make sure that it's an acceptable range. It's a little bit farther than just purely looking at it on a map might suggest. Now, let's talk this community. So this is Carillon. Carillon is a very, very cool one because you've got a very wide range. not only are these homes like really competitively priced for what you get, but you've got 4 different builders offering a whole myriad worth of different things depending on what you're really looking for. So we've got D.R. Horton, Chesmar, Brightland, and Richmond American. And each one of those is going to have, you know, a little bit of their own spin on things in terms of design, features, you know, color choices, materials that you can pick from. You can get some really cool things out here as well. There are some pretty large single-story homes. You can get 3-car garages very easily. And Richmond American, as we've featured on this channel quite a few times, offers an RV garage, meaning that it's designed to put a Class A RV bus inside of your house, which, to be honest, most people out here don't seem to be using it for RVs, but it's awesome as a gym, as an office. If you're a car guy, you can put lifts in there. It is very, very cool to have that. This is the only community around Austin where they are offering it. Now, those are very common in places like Arizona and California, but as far as I'm aware, this is the only production builder building those in Texas. So very unique to have that here. So if you actually look out here on the right side, we're towards the back of this neighborhood right now. You can see that preserved green space off to the right. Now, if you go far enough into those trees, there's a little dry creek back there, but the trail system is now open. That's been promised for a long time. Obviously, construction just takes a while, but that is very, very nice to have here. And you'll note quite a few green spaces throughout the community. So if you like to go for walks, get outside and exercise, especially if you work from home, that's very nice to have and does make this community a little bit unique compared to some of the other ones like Lagos, for example. Now, one of the bigger selling points of this community is the value that it offers. Again, you've got a wide range of homes out here in terms of size, you know, single and 2-story, all of those kind of things. But you'll see homes in the pretty mid $300,000 out here, which again, some of those are brand new even. That's a tremendous value. You'll also see quite a few of the larger homes in here selling in the 500,000 and 600,000. Some of the Chesmars, they're really heavily upgraded towards the upper end of that. But there really kind of is something out here for everybody and everybody's budget. Now, that said, I want to bring on to one of the more interesting parts of this community. Funny enough, the neighborhood I grew up in is also the same. You know, if you went 3 houses down, you were in a different school district than the one that I was in, and this one's just the same. So we are outside of city limits. That does involve a few of other things. It does not mean we have a very low tax rate, but we are right between the jurisdictions of Manor and Elgin ISD. So that means if schools are very important to you, if you're looking for specific schools, we do need to be aware of which house you're looking at before you make a final decision on one or the other, because transferring school districts generally is not possible. That is one thing to be very aware of. About a little less than half of the neighborhood goes to Manor ISD, and then basically everywhere we're driving right now does go to Elgin. So just something to be aware of. Definitely do some research in on those if schools are really important to you. But it is an interesting caveat and something very interesting to just be aware of. Because of that, also the property tax rates are different depending on which part of the neighborhood you're in. They're all going to range between 2.3 and 2.7%, but 2.7 is on the really high end of the Austin area. You know, obviously Texas, if you are not familiar, we don't have a state income tax, and a lot of that is offset by our property taxes. So we do have a generally higher property tax than most of the country, and 2.7 is on the upper end of anything around the Austin area also. So just be aware, you know, if we come out here shopping, definitely let's just check into those things and make sure that that's fitting within not only your budget, but also your preferences as far as schools go. Now, if this video was helpful to you, perhaps you're looking into Manor, maybe you're comparing this community to some of the other ones around here. If you're looking for a real estate agent to work for you, to not only help you find the right house in the right community and at the right price, I would love to be that resource for you. Reach out anytime to me directly. My personal contact details are on the screen and down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.